Okay, welcome to our second episode of Around the Ground to have a look around Norton and Stockton Ancients Football Club. We're going to have a little talk with Chairman Mick Mulligan now. In we go.
Good morning.
Oh yeah, right, let's get started.
Okay.
So we've just got the pitch around here and a walkway goes all the way around the back, and what there's about something like that?
Oh, there's a good 10 to 15 metres around the back goal, and then we've got the full walkway around the pitch. Stand which seats 230 people. The building directly in front of you is a new changing room, club room facility, which we just built last year. So I'll take you around. In here we have a little club room, some sort of male and female toilets, our own little bar, which is just for match days only, obviously. Our own little kitchen where we can prepare food, cups of tea, just light refreshments as well. And this is the sort of area that to congregate half time, and come in half time for a drink or drink before the game. Then through here we have the both of the changing rooms. We have male officials, female officials, home and away, team changing rooms. This is the away changing room. Male officials. Fortunately, just have our own physio room, treatment room, which our club physio uses. Obviously, if we need it in emergencies on the match day, it's very useful. Our hospitality area, which we use for post-match, meeting players after the game, and obviously the officials from opposition sides. So we're quite lucky we've got a nice facility to look after these boys.
As far as new signings are concerned, are you relying on getting young players in from the academies? Or?
Yes, we're fortunate because we have two or three very good links really. We have good links through our goalkeeper stroke assistant manager, Jim Provert. He's at the academy at Hartlepool. We've got good links with Middlesbrough Football Club, with Dave Carnaby at the academy, and we have players on loan at the moment, or work experience from Middlesbrough Football Club. Goalkeeper in particular. So we're very fortunate there. We can ask for favours and we tend to get favours. But at the start of the season we built a fairly young team with a few old heads in there, but mainly players who just wanted to play football for the club. And everything worked well. We produced some good football, but the thing that's killed this season has been the weather. The weather and the backlog of fixtures has just spoilt it for everybody, unfortunately.
Speaking of the backlog of fixtures, how do you think that can be overcome in the future? Do you think the only way to go is 4G pitches, or...?
No, not necessarily. It doesn't necessarily have to be 4G pitch, but I think there is a lot to be said for sand-based pitches on the grass. And we have a couple of teams in our league who play on sand-based pitches, and most of the time, their pitches will be playable. Billingham Synthonia, I think, is one, and Billingham Town, quite close to us, is another. And their pitches are more playable than ours are. So I think a sand-based pitch is a good thing. Drainage is another important factor, and potentially water storage on site, because it's not so much the problem of getting the water away from the pitch, it's a high water table. So there's a bit of drainage and storage. If we could afford that, that would help. I think the season has to be considered because of the climate changes that we're experiencing now. And the reality is that this hasn't just been one bad year, it's been 5 or 6 bad years. And maybe the FA and the leagues have to look at almost like the foreign teams in the Icelandic countries where they have to close down because of the weather. Maybe that is an answer. An extension to the season was absolutely vital this season. I did ask for an extension in March because we had a backlog of 18 fixtures to fit in. Other teams in our league, Spennymoor in particular, Shildon, had 22 and 24 at that time, but unfortunately they wouldn't extend it at that point. The sad part about that is now, literally last Thursday, they have extended it. But that's a bit late for us because we've already played 8 or 9 fixtures crammed into a very tight slot. And that's caused us to be where we are, and we're in relegation. End of story. Our relegation situation, I'm absolutely adamant on, is the congestion, backlog of fixtures. We played at Newton Aycliffe with 10 players. 2 of those players were injured, and it was almost, in one sense, from my point of view, it was almost unprofessional of me to allow them to play. But if we hadn't, we'd have had consequences for not fielding enough players on the game. We would have had a potential fine, and those players played 90 minutes when they shouldn't be playing for maybe another 2 weeks, as far as the physio is concerned. So to play at Newton Aycliffe with 10 players, that's an example. Teams have come here with 1 sub on the bench. We went to Bedlington on a Saturday with no subs, and that's been a consequence of people being in work, can't take 2, 3, 4 nights off during the week.
So next season, are you looking to be bouncing straight back, or do you think you're going to have to build the team up there?
Well, no, I think we're strong enough and good enough to bounce straight back. And I think hopefully it'll give us a year not only to build the team on a budget that we can sustain, we'll have hopefully younger players coming through from our own club, because as a football club over the last 15 years we've developed teams from under 7 right the way through now to under 18. So this year we've actually got a genuine under 18 team which we're expecting to take players through, which will help. They only know Norton Football Club, they play for Norton Football Club, they want to play for Norton Football Club. We've got a hardcore of players, as in who turned up last night, who will always turn up, come hook or by crook, and I'm convinced we've got enough there. And we've also got players who left the club last year for their reasons, who are now interested in coming back. So the second division hasn't put players off, because the Northern League generates good football normally, and the second division is a hard division to get out of. I don't really mind too much being in the second division. What I do sort of worry about is whether we're ever going to be in a position to have a budget that will keep us in the first division.